It will now measure the next tool, in this case tool 102. And again, let's look at the results of the tool change. So if I browse through the panel here and look at tool 102, I previously labeled it as the drill longer than the master. You'll notice that its tool length offset is positive because it is indeed longer than the master tool. And let's go off and check it against the top of the part. And now that we're over the part, let's take it back to the level we want. Let's say Z1. Here we are again. Got our little gauge block. And in this case, we got a very bad measurement because the chuck didn't get tight. Life happens this way. Well, that's no good. Good thing I noticed that. Just to show you that I don't script these things. T102, M6. This time, hopefully, I happen to have the thing tight. Again, it goes through the tool change sequence. This time, I'm going to make sure indeed I have it tight. Yes, I do. Guess I didn't get it before. We'll remeasure this tool because clearly the old measure was no good. Okay, now we have hopefully a good measurement of the tool. Now that we actually managed to get the chuck tight, it is important that you tighten up the chucks when you mount the drill bits. And we will go to Z1, get our gauge block, and pretty darn close. I've got a teeny bit of play there, but not much, and that's partly the difference in the touch plate and the tip of the bit. So that's about as close as I can get for precision on my machine. And so what we've done is we've essentially done a tool change where we mounted the master tool. We used the master tool to set the top of the part. And then we've essentially manually done two tool changes, one with a tool shorter than the master and one with a tool longer, and shown that indeed if you, sorry about that, actually tighten the drill chuck, then indeed the system does make the correct measurements and gives you the right tool length offsets for the tools. So that's the end of my little demonstration of master tool mode, but this shows you that if the only optional hardware that you add to your system when using the MachStdMill software is the touch plate at the tool change position, you can mount one tool, the master. You can come over to a part, and using a gauge block, just as you've probably done many times before, you can use the master to set the top of the part. And then you are all set up from that point forward to automatically measure the length of all the other tools as they're changed. And they will automatically get measured, and they'll automatically all have the right tool length offsets for running your G-code programs. So probably the most beneficial optional piece of hardware that you can add to the system, and one of the lowest costs, is the tool change position touch plate. You'll notice that the picture of the touch plate that I have here, let me jog over so that it's a little bit more in the picture. It's a piece of printed circuit board. It happens to be mounted on a piece of old 80-20 extrusion that I had to raise it up a little bit. That was just a convenient place for me to mount it. It's mounted with nylon screws because you don't want to electrically short the top of the plate to the table. After all, that is the path that you're using to make the probe event. And I guess I'll show one other little feature here, which is that I have a little banana jack soldered to the corner of my plate. And the reason for this is that the touch plates can be in parallel essentially if you're using a mobile touch plate. So instead of using the gauge block, I could have used a mobile touch plate to do a probe operation to set the top of the part. In which case, I can just plug the banana jack in there, and it's a convenient place for me to hook up the wiring. So that brings me to the end of this video. Hopefully this will show you the ease of master tool mode. The next thing that I'm going to do in a video is I'm going to show you the combination of using the probe tool as the master tool and how this makes setup probably the easiest combination of things you can do with MachStdMill. Thanks very much. Look forward to talking to you in another video.